testing our redundancy feature in our NAS server, what we're going to do is to shut down falsely all the system and to put out one of the hard disks in our Maiwo enclosure, and then boot up the system again and check if our redundancy feature is working, and we'll test our NAS server storage performance. So let's begin. We're going to do it falsely and not healthy to the system. So I'm going to start with the NAS server, okay? Then with the enclosures. Okay. I will take out one of the disks of the enclosures, putting over here. You can see I have missed disk in one of the enclosures. Right now I'm going to boot up the system again. So let's begin with the power supply for the enclosures. Okay. Let's wait a few seconds. Okay, both of them validate with the LED blue light that both of them working as they need to be in red one. So let's connect the enclosures into the Raspberry Pi and power on the Raspberry Pi. Again, we can see that the NAS server is struggling to boot up the RAID device. We're going to do it manually. Okay. Let's access the system and boot up the RAID device with one command. Okay, it's up. Let's see. Okay, let's access our So our NAS server is up. Let's validate that all the data is readable and writable, and we will ensure that the redundant feature is working. Sorry, my mistake. So first, let's go to the RAID management. Yes, everything is clean with the same capacity. Let's go to the see if the shared folder is alive. We can see all the data. Let's see if this data is readable and writable.
thing is just like...
Yes. Everything seems to be okay. The redundancy feature is working, and really amazing. So let's test the performance with one missing disk of one of the enclosures. Let's test our NAS server storage as we finish to extract one of its enclosure hard drives. So let's begin with the simple test: read operations from the NAS server into the desktop, Windows desktop. So let's begin. Okay. So let's take this folder and copy it. Oh, no. Okay. So as we can see, we got the same throughput value as before we extract the enclosure, one of the enclosure hard drive. Additional, we can see that the read IOPS is the same. If we're gonna look closer on the SDA and SDB, which represent both enclosures, we can see the same amount of IOPS. How can it be? How can it be that after we extract one of the enclosure hard drive, it's the same amount like the second enclosure, which have two hard drives? So we can conclude from it that the Maiwo enclosure takes just one hard drive when we do the RAID 1, and just take the one of the hard drive performance. So it's meaning that the SSD feature does work also on the RAID operations, because as you remember, when we calculate the IOPS for one disk, it was 53.76 IOPS, and now we have 100 IOPS. So we can conclude from it that the SSD features double the IOPS per each disk. So it does make the work. So let's see. Okay, the read throughput is stable, also the IOPS. It was really a surprise for me to see it. Okay, right now let's gonna do the write operations. Let's take this folder and copy into the NAS server shared folders. So again, as we saw, nothing new. As before we extract the one of the enclosure hard drive, the write operation is not stable. We can see the same amount of IOPS. The peak was almost 500 IOPS, and the write operations, the throughput was almost 30 megabyte per second. We can conclude that all the additional tests will be the same, because as we figure out that the Maiwo enclosure will take only one hard drive for throughput and performance when we configure the RAID 1 feature on the enclosure. Very important to know it if you wish to by those enclosure and implement some configuration. So we can see at the right IOPS that each enclosure sometimes have more than almost 200 IOPS for writing. So it's meaning that the SSD features will multiply it by almost 4 the write IOPS. So it's really amazing. The SSD feature is work and activate. Not all the time, not stable, but we can see it. So, thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope you enjoy from it and you learn something new that you can do with the Raspberry Pi 3. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Bye bye.